Hi, welcome again. In this video, I'm going to show you how to import a height field or landscape created inside Houdini into Unreal Engine for texturing and creating a game. For example, this is the landscape that we can see on the Houdini. So we have done some of the erosions and it's a decent landscape. And this is the final landscape that you can see in Unreal Engine after we textured that one. And of course, we can put a player over somewhere here and we can, basically we can play the game and see how good our landscape is. Right, in this video I'm not gonna cover how to texture this landscape inside Unreal Engine, but here I'm focused more on how to get the landscape from Houdini into Unreal Engine properly so we can work on texturing on a later video. Here I'm going to show you some of the approach that I use. First of all, why Houdini? Because it's a quite cheap software if you think about the functionality, and you can get the Houdini Indie for about like $250, and I believe with the feature set it has is a really impressive offer. And if you want to learn about Houdini and how to create terrains, and there's a really good tutorial on how to do that. I'll add a link in the description below. So here I just followed the third video, and that's how I created this landscape. Now I'm going to show you how to import that into Unreal Engine. Here I'm not going to use the Houdini Engine inside Unreal Engine, but instead of I'm going to export height maps and some other maps into textures, and I'm gonna use the usual Unreal Engine landscape workflow to import those height fields and other maps. First, of course, we need to have Houdini, and we need to have Houdini Indie in order to export these textures. All right, and then after that, we can go to the object mode, and I'm gonna right click and create a cop2 network. Right, I'm gonna rename that as images. Right, then I'm gonna go inside, but you cannot see anything over here. In order to have, we need to have a composite view. So you can get a view like this going into this plus icon, new panel, and Weavers and composite. All right, that's how you get this window if you don't have that. Right, then I inside my cop2 network, and I'm gonna right click and search for SOP import. Right, this one. So here I can import our landscape into this this cop network. So I can locate my landscape. Here, dusty biome, main, and inside that landscape I have an output called preview. I'm gonna import that one. So now you have a preview, but it's definitely not something we want. All right, let's work on that. If you can't see this window, simply hit P, then you can see this window over here. Right, then I can hit set planes from SOP. Right, basically now I'm gonna import all the planes from, now you can see there are a couple of maps. Nice. Then I'm gonna focus on the height map, and then also I'm gonna hit the set resolution from SOP. Right, now my landscape is about 4K resolution, and now we have that. But definitely if you look at the landscape and this one, this is not what we want, and the reason is we need to remap the range from 0 to 1. So I can click this remap range icon. Right now my landscape is on the 0 to 1 range, and that's exactly what we need. All right, and also now we need to go to image section. Now I can see my landscape is 4K, basically 4096, but in Unreal Engine there's a little difference of this size. We need to remap that into 4033. I'll add a documentation in the links. So basically, we need to follow this resolution, otherwise there's a weird edge in my landscape. I don't like it. All right, and this is good, and I think we can continue. Now we have a lot of maps over here, but I want to focus on the height map. Then I'm gonna drag this circle, and I'm gonna tap, and I'm gonna search for delete. Then I'm gonna delete everything other than the height plane. All right, and here the delete non-scope, other things. Right, then I can hit this blue button, and I can view that. Now you can see now we only have height. All right, now I'm gonna export this into a texture. I'm gonna drag this circle and tap. I'm gonna type ROP file output. So I'm gonna output this into a file. Now this is quite important. Here I need to set the frame range into the current range. I'm just looking at this single window, single frame only. Resolution is natural resolution. Okay, that's good because we have already set the remap the resolution. Okay, if you want to change that, definitely you can do that over here. But I'm not gonna do that. Then we have the location. Hip is the project location of this one. I'm gonna render, and I'm gonna say all right, and I'm gonna give it a name OS Okay, I'm gonna delete this. I don't, heap name is the file name, I don't want to do that. And the frame rate, I don't want that either. Right, the OS is the name of this node, so I can type Dusty Height. All right, so that's my the file name. Then I can middle click this output picture. I can see the final file name. You can see is render Dusty Height EXR. So you can see what's happening here. Then I can middle click here again. I can get this format. Then here's the important thing. The output file should be R16. So basically here we are outputting this height field as a raw texture with 16-bit float values, and that's a quite good way we can export this height field into Unreal Engine. Right, then we have the color plane, and I'm gonna select it should be height because we only have height over here. Right, then I can select this. I can click this render button, so it will render out my height field into this location. So I can verify that. Right, now we have file, but unfortunately we cannot preview this. That's fine. Now we're gonna import this into Unreal Engine right now. Then I'm gonna create a new level. Here I'm gonna select the basic level. So basically now we have some decent setup light system, so that's why we select that. Now I'm gonna delete the flow because we're gonna use a landscape. Now I'm gonna go to the landscape mode. Then I'm gonna import it from a file, and the location is the file that we output. It should be Dusty Height R16. I'm gonna set open. Right now everything is set up properly, 4033, and yeah, all the settings are pretty good, and I can see a preview of my landscape over here. If I need, I can scale the landscape height into, let's say it's 100. I'm scaling this to 100, but I can scale this to 200. So if you need to increase the height of your landscape, but in this case I'm gonna put into 100 because I kind of like it. So basically you can play with this value for sure. Right, then I'm gonna hit import. Right, now we have our landscape. I'm gonna close this landscape mode by selecting the select mode. Right, now we have our landscape over here, and we have some sort of like a fog over here. Actually that's because of the exponential height fog. I'm gonna uncheck it right now because now I can clearly see my landscape. All right, now you can see I got all the details properly, and there is no cracks, and it looks wonderful. Right, now we have our landscape over here, and we are almost done. But before we conclude this video, I'm gonna show you how to export other layers. For example, here we have the other important maps like flow map, so I can get more very interesting details over here. Also there's another map called debris, so it's based on erosion. I can see all the debris in my landscape. It's quite important to like layer texturing, especially this one and the flow map. So I'm gonna export these two maps as well. Here's how to do that. So let's say I'm gonna focus on the flow map. Right, I'm gonna drag this and hit a delete node again. Here I'm gonna delete everything other than the flow map. Right, then I can select it, and you can see now I only have the flow map. So basically just like previously, I'm gonna export this one, so I can simply duplicate this one. Right, I'm gonna rename the output node as, let's say, Dusty Flow. Right, and we only render current frame, resolution is good, and yeah, the plane should be the flow. Right here, now we cannot export this as R16. Of course we can, but Unreal Engine cannot read these values. So in order to use these values for actually for the texturing purpose, I need to export this as a PNG file. Then we can set the alpha plane to none because we don't need to have an alpha over here. Just the color would be fine. I'm gonna hit render again. Now I have the flow map over here. Yeah, and that's exactly what we need. Just like this, you can export other maps as well as you wish. Alright, this is about how to export Houdini landscapes or height fields into Unreal Engine. And in the next tutorial, I'm going to show you how to texture this with open land, landscape material quite easily, as well as using some of these splat maps or flow maps, and we can do very interesting things. Alright, see you soon with something interesting. Bye.